Hey everyone, it's Kyle, Azora Hype. Yesterday, there were some new official promo photos released for Episode 5, The Battle for King's Landing and the Iron Throne. So let's get hype and let's jump into the video. So, to be honest, the first picture looks like a defeated Dany back on Dragonstone. Dany's hair is all messed up in this shot, and her braids are undone, suggesting her state of mental health is not in a good position. Now, before everyone starts up with the Dany is going mad stuff, let's breathe for a beat. In this picture, Dany looks tired and depressed, and everyone she cares about is dying around her, and it doesn't look like she's taking it too well. Who can blame her? I'm not buying into this Daenerys will be the Mad Queen crap yet. They are really trying to sell it hard, and Dany is a lot smarter than we think, and I believe that we will see them come up with a plan as Daenerys, Jon, and others are on Dragonstone. I don't think she's out of the great game at this point. She's taking a breather, a timeout at Dragonstone. It looks like Tyrion is also there with her, and we see him in the trailer walking toward her by the painted table in the Dragonstone throne room. This could either be a time where he counsels her, or perhaps depending on what is said in this scene, he starts to. When Cersei executed Missandei, she was trying to enrage Daenerys to the point where she would make a mistake and act immediately. It's quite obvious that Cersei wanted to get a reaction out of Daenerys. But if she returns to Dragonstone, is it because of defeat? Or is it because she has lost one of her children, Missandei, and Jorah in the span of 2 episodes? We also see photos of Jon Snow arriving to Dragonstone and being greeted by Varys. Of course, in the last episode, we saw Varys discuss treason with Tyrion, but if Varys approaches Jon in this situation and tries to influence Jon, I believe we could see a scenario very similar to when Jon threatened Littlefinger about Sansa. I think he could call out Varys in this situation, despite the way Daenerys has acted and treated Jon. Jon has been very consistent of the support for his queen, so we could more than likely see Varys make a big mistake if he approaches Jon thinking that he can influence him to move against Dany. Jon also could be arriving to King's Landing in this scenario or somewhere else, but we still haven't seen this shot from one of the teaser trailers that looks to be at Dragonstone, so hopefully Jon can provide some support for Daenerys in this incredibly difficult time. We also see a shot of Jon Snow and Davos, which is different from the shot we got with Tyrion, Davos, and Jon here. In the one with Davos here, we have Jon on Davos' right, and in the other shot, Davos is on Jon's left. These 2 shots could be from 2 different parts of the episode, but Daenerys isn't with them, so it will be interesting to see how this scene goes down, considering Harry Strickland and the Golden Company are now outside the city gates. In yesterday's video, I discussed the possibilities of the Golden Company flipping on Cersei for the last male in the Targaryen line, Aegon Targaryen, who is Jon Snow. Harry Strickland hasn't had much dialogue this season, but I do think we could see a conversation between Jon and Harry. I also wonder if Davos will be present, or Tyrion can be present as well in this situation. Tyrion is the one who would more than likely spill the beans in this scenario, since Jon has been reluctant to discuss many things, including his assassination and lineage, but I do think we will see them talk before shit hits the fan. Now, maybe they won't flip at first, and perhaps they do this after they see the raw power of Dany and Drogon, but I really can't wait to see if they fight what remains of a pissed off Grey Worm and the Unsullied. Since Daenerys isn't with the rest of the crew, we could see some sort of ambush that destroys Euron Greyjoy's fleet, allowing perhaps for the arrival of Yara, who has more than likely been contacted to take part in the battle in King's Landing. I really like this idea of them creating an opportunity for Jon and co to get through the gates of King's Landing. Based on how Euron is surprised in both of these shots in the trailer, and since we hear the sound of a dragon and Euron looking into the sun, we could see Daenerys try a more covert strategy to avoid all of the innocents being killed in King's Landing. One of the badass things we could see in the next episode is Daenerys use Aegon the Conqueror's tactics that he used at Harrenhal. I'm going to read an excerpt from Fire and Blood to give you an idea of what I mean. At the last light of the sun faded, Black Heron's men stared into the gathering darkness, clutching their spears and crossbows. When no dragon appeared, some may have thought that Aegon's threats had been hollow. But Aegon Targaryen took Balerion up high through the clouds, up and up, until the dragon was no bigger than a fly upon the moon. Only then did he descend well inside the castle walls. On wings as black as pitch, Balerion plunged through the night, and when the great towers of Harrenhal appeared beneath him, the dragon roared his fury and bathed them in black fire, shot through with swirls of red. One thing that we also have to consider is that Cersei has shown her hand. We do have someone who is there who knows Cersei very well, which is Tyrion. Also, if Daenerys is creating this diversion in another part of the city, Cersei will have just left her largest force, the Golden Company, right between the gates of King's Landing and Jon and his forces. I could see a scenario where Daenerys comes through and destroys the Scorpions, which pins the Golden Company between Jon's forces and Daenerys and Drogon. A big part of Cersei's strategy is to not only overwhelm Daenerys with the sheer mass of the size of her army, but also in being in a position where the castle gives them a defensive advantage. But we have Tyrion and Davos who are also part of the Battle of the Blackwater, so we could see a strategy that leaves Cersei without the support of Euron and his forces, and also the Golden Company who are guarding the gates. We also can't forget that we have other people who will be entering King's Landing for their own specific reasons, including Jaime, who has to deal with Cersei, and also Arya, who wants to deal with Cersei, and the Hound, who wants to deal with his brother the Mountain. There's a long lineup of people who want to deal with Cersei, and ultimately to get to her they will have to go through the Mountain and Qyburn as well. I would really love to see another scene where Arya uses her Faceless Men abilities in some sort of covert strategy to either get into King's Landing or to spring a trap for Cersei. We'll more than likely see a repeat scenario of her feeling defeated on the Iron Throne like she was with Tommen during the Battle of the Blackwater, but it's definitely possible we see a repeat scenario of her using wildfire in a last-ditch effort to take down her enemies and anyone who wants to take the Iron Throne. This shot right here is almost identical to the one we see Cersei overlooking the destruction of the Sept of Baelor, and we see this shot with the fleet and a bell, which could be foreshadowing to another Sept of Baelor style of event happening in King's Landing. So many things have to happen in the next episode, and perhaps we do see Daenerys Targaryen's House of the Undying vision come to fruition, with the Red Keep being destroyed due to the Mad Queen Cersei Lannister or herself with Drogon. But what do you think will happen? Will Daenerys suffer another defeat, or do you think Daenerys going all Mad Queen is a giant misdirect? And how many tragic moments and explosive big character deaths do you think we will see in the next episode? Let me know your thoughts, your theories, and tinfoil in the comment section. And of course, if you want to see more Game of Thrones videos, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Hype and love.